What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Board and Scale podcast. It's been a minute, but we're back, and we're going to talk about stuff. As always, you have me, your host, Sibo, and your other host, also known as co-host, Gavandrius, and also the other
Black one.
co-host. I have to censor that.
No, you don't.
Dwayne. All right.
Well,
Let's start with our highlights. I'm not going to go first.
Dwayne, you
'cause
go first.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
All right. Well, how many fucking games have we played since we last
6.
did this?
It's not been a lot for me.
Really?
Uh,
That's disappointing.
All right. Well, my highlight is Yokohama. Yokohama is a worker placement resource management game.
Quit it. We
They
said
gotta
we're-
know.
No, we said we're going to do that no more.
When teaching,
Look
they
it
have to
up.
know.
Look it up. Yokohama, it's a beautiful game. The theme. What is it? What are you doing?
You are a merchant. You are the president of a merchant business.
Cool.
And you're walking around. I assume it's
Yokohama?
You're walking around
Somewhere.
The city,
and you're
country,
visiting
state.
stores, gaining resources, trading resources, buying power cards, sending your people to the churches, temples for points. I really like it because it's pretty simple, but you can get stuck. It's kind of hard sometimes.
You can get stuck a little bit because
Yeah.
the coins are very like. You got one coin last turn, and now you owe it to somebody else.
And you
immediately.
have to build your network correctly. So you have to like plan way ahead.
Yeah.
Honestly, unless you have a card that's like you can move anywhere.
And
because
again,
the main thing is in order to move your president, you have to be connected to the place by your assistants, which you build out on your turns. So you're gonna have to plan on what you're going for. Can't go where other people are. So yeah, but it's fun. It's really fun.
do you remember when you messed up that rule?
What rule?
And we had it where you could pay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. But it's okay. I played the original. I own the remake.
Flex.
They're
on.
both good. The remake just changes like a couple little rules.
Is it prettier?
It's a
It's
pretty
good
game.
looking, but I think both of them are pretty good looking.
Nah, not the old one. I seen it.
No, you don't think so?
Nah.
Honestly, so in the remake, in the original, your assistants are just cubes. Just like cubes. But in the remake, they're meeples. I honestly think I prefer the cubes just because you can.
Yeah, because for the double layered board that they give you, you have to specifically put those little guys in their shape versus just a cube is a cube and putting it in the square.
Mm.
And especially even on the board itself, like I feel like with a meeple, you're like mentally inclined to be like, they have to stand up. They have to be looking right. But with a
'cause
cube,
lay
you can
'em
just.
down.
Blah,
Yeah, it's
you can
fine.
blah.
All right, so Dwayne hates the game, and that's his highlight. Yep.
All right. So this is. I enjoyed the game. I don't think it's an amazing game, but I'm gonna highlight it because it does a mechanism differently. So it's Mistborn, the deck building game.
Ooh.
If you're not familiar, it's Brandon Sanderson, his Mistborn series. It's based on that. I haven't read the series. It's on my list of things to read. Metallurgy is a big part of it, and that is what they build into the game. So it's a pretty standard deck building game. You have your starting deck. You have a player card, asymmetric player abilities. You're leveling up your character as you go. And as you're collecting cards, they come in different metal types, and you can burn metals, but you can only burn so many at a time until you've leveled up your character. And then you can also, what's it called? What's the other term? Flare a metal, which turns it to an unusable side until you
Discard a card.
discard a-
refresh it.
Yeah. So it's interesting because there's a control mechanism in the game for how often you can use certain cards and how those different things work. So it's not. I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a very simple deck building game. But for a game, for a very tried and true mechanic, to introduce something that is both new and even though I know just enough about the Mistborn series to know that it seems like it probably does a really good job of employing the theme that's in the series in that mechanism. So, yeah,
Just like the
Also,
Red Rising
if you-
game.
I really look forward
JK,
to.
but we love you, Stonemeyer.
I really want to play that again now that I've read 6 of the 7 books. The last one's not out yet, but like, it's because like I don't remember anything about our play except for like it was not great at 6 players.
Yeah, it's taking too long.
But like, I remember like there are a bunch of named characters and whatnot, and you have the 6 different, I think 6 or 7 different colors or whatever the casts are. But like in the books, you don't learn the names of a lot of other colored characters, right? So like,
Other than like the
like,
red people.
you learn red people, you learn gold people, and you learn a handful of other colors here and there. Like you got a couple blues, whites, oranges. You
Like
get a couple.
individuals important to the
Yeah,
story.
but not enough to make a whole darn like thing. So I just don't remember, and I literally haven't opened my game to actually sit down and look at it to see like, oh, who are all the people? Because like, again, most of the cast, I mean, they're golds,
Yeah.
right, or a handful of reds. So like, I'm like, well, I know the deck obviously the game is balanced, so I don't know. Either way, looking forward to playing that one again. But yeah, theme probably not a great. Mistborn obviously probably did a better job of implementing something that's relevant to the story. So yeah. So Mistborn deck building game, it's fun. Give it a shot.
All right. And with that, we move on to my highlight, which is going to be Moon Rollers, because I haven't played a lot of different stuff. 1, 2, I like push your luck games, and it is a push your luck game. So basically, in Moon Rollers, you're trying to satisfy requirements of different people of different colors. I forgot what they're called. And the way that you do that, push your luck dice rolling to try and match the symbols on the cards. To collect the people, they have powers that help you throughout the game. It's very cool. You're collecting points throughout as well. But yeah, that's my highlight. Easy peasy.
Good game.
I feel like the
It's a good
theme
game.
for me, I just like space. Cool, fine. But the game itself, fun.
Yeah, the space theme is honestly kind of lost to
Stick
a certain
on.
extent, right? Like, because it's like, okay, I got it. It's thrusters and shields and stuff like
Right.
that. So there's stuff there, and the characters are all like space people or whatever. But like, there's nothing that really feels very like the art is very thematic and sci-fi, but like, yeah, there's nothing else going on. But I mean, I feel like IV does that quite a bit. They take stuff and they just kind of push the limits of what they can do with their
For, like-
very specific art.
Yeah, that and each little world they build. Like Moon Rollers being a derivative of Moonrakers.
Moonrakers.
Yeah.
And then Brink is a derivation of Moon Rollers too. It's in that same universe,
Yeah,
right?
it's in the same, but it's the big brother
Yeah.
of them.
And then you've got games like
Scales of Fate.
Scales of Fate, and Pillars of Fate, which is Veiled Fate. And now they just released kind of a foreshadowing of what we're going to be talking about here in a minute. But Tend now has a standalone card game that's coming out that you can pre-order. So they're definitely capitalizing on like an art theme and the name and the success of a bigger title to push smaller titles.
That's kind of interesting as a model. Does whoever makes Everdell kind of do the same thing?
I don't know. I mean, they just keep making more Everdell content, right? Because they've got they just had the Kickstarter for another one of their campaigns, because you got the Everdell big box, and then they had, was it Farshore?
Yeah.
And then there's another one. I don't remember what it's called.
Is Duel? There's Everdell Duel.
Yeah, no, I'm not even talking about that, because like it's a full on like sub series of Everdell where they've got Farshore. They've got another one that was just released on Kickstarter. I can't remember what it's called. And the third one coming out too. So eventually you'll probably have like a second Everdell collection or something or another. So like
Everdell Universe, you have a whole.
exactly, and it's just, I mean, it's great. I mean, people love it if that's their game. I mean, this is one of those things where like if it's a lifestyle for you, if like that is your main game or one of your top 5 favorite games, you play it a lot. That stuff is fantastic because you have a lot of content. For folks like us, I mean, the reality is that like I'm slowly coming to terms with the reality that like
Variety gamer.
yeah, I'm just not gonna, I probably don't need all of the additional content for a game because I'm not gonna open it. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna play the base game. I want to play the base game a couple times to get a feel for it, and then start expanding stuff. And it depends on the nature of the expansion. We've talked about it before. Like, do you just want to throw all the expansions in? I'm more of a build up rather than throw it all in. But
I just feel like if you're gonna do it, for most of our games that see sunlight maybe 5 times,
yeah, that's fair. But I mean, for me, it's at least second play.
if I feel like it.
Yeah,
I'm basically all or nothing.
Yeah.
Just base game or like trying out everything. Unless the game is like, oh, you can add this module that's 4 extra cards in the deck,
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff like that where it's like you can add 3 or 4 different things to it, and there's just kind of that question mark of like, how many of these one extra rule things do I want to add? So like, we're playing Thunder Road the other day. Played it twice on 2 different days, and it's got a bunch of decks of cards that you can add, and it's basically literally like every player gets 1 additional card, and one of the decks is your airstrike. 1 airstrike for the game can be special and do something extra. Hey, there's 1 additional command thing you can do, 1 bonus action, 1 objective that you're trying to meet or whatever.
Like one slight variation add-on.
It's literally 1 extra card per player or whatever, and there's all these different modules, and it's like, it just kind of gets exhausting to be like, okay, and now I'm going to hand you this card, and now I'm going to hand you this card.
From this set and that set, and do you separate it every time, or?
Yeah, I mean they have different backs, fortunately, so that's very easy to tell the difference. But I've kind of defaulted now to Chop Shop because it's really fun to draft the additional stuff to like add to your cars, to change the rules for individual cars, and then do the weather conditions because the weather conditions affect everybody equally. But yeah, stuff like that where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to add 10 tiny little things,
And have to have like the rulebook pamphlets out.
Yeah, or whatever.
All right. Well, speaking of blowing up cars and blowing things up, let's talk about our beautiful hobby getting blown up by the tariffs. Kev, go ahead and take us in.
So yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows what's going on at this point. There's a lot of content. Are we ever going to release that video, or is it kind of a day later?
It'll be out after this one.
Yeah. So we got some archive data from back when the tariffs were 20%.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, that's really bad. Now it's 145%. Yeah.
The time between pod episodes got tariffed to 145%.
So if you're not in the crowdfunding space, it's probably a little bit more transparent for you until you started seeing some of the companies start going down. But if you're in the crowdfunding space, like a lot of us are, I get 2 or 3 emails a day from different companies saying, "Hey, you've all been waiting for it. This is our
here's
the
update." Yeah,
right. And a lot of companies are taking a lot of different approaches. The most universal one, the most common one, I should say, is companies are waiting to find out, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, we watched the numbers go from 10% to 145% in a couple weeks or whatever it was, and people don't know if they're going to come down. Companies are looking for, I won't call them loopholes, but workarounds. Some companies are talking about just leaving stuff in the country of origin.
Yeah. So GameStart or Start Game, one of those, they're doing their game Darkest Doom, which has been in production for like 4 years maybe. I've been waiting on this game. Finally, it's like done and getting ready to ship, and all this stuff happens. But they updated basically saying like they were even prepared to eat the 20% because they kind of were way behind schedule anyway of their own fault, but they can't eat the crazy numbers. I think it was like, it wasn't even 100 and whatever yet, or maybe it was. when they announced basically that their plan, they were going to look at storing all the U.S. Copies overseas, or perhaps even starting another print run and sending extra to distributors who want to, like basically offering extra copies to non-US distributors so that they can still get some money for the copies and just put the US stuff back into production and hope that it's done by the time all that stuff is ready to ship again. Storage option seems the most viable because then they're not really worried about like order numbers again, I guess. But how long can you store stuff is really the conversation versus just paying the shitty price up front or asking the backers to do it. Like we talked about, mentioned that Stonemeyer Games and Jamie Stegmeyer announced that for Vantage, because that was already pre-ordered and it's on the way, they plan on essentially eating the cost, but putting a secondary thing at checkout to say, hey, do you want to help us pay the difference for shipping? Totally optional, but thank you. And it puts the onus, I think, completely on the customer without specifically asking each person and making each person feel like bad if they don't contribute or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about this in the episode that we recorded that you'll maybe eventually see or whatever. But, you know, I think there's two different conversations to be had. One of them has to do with like the retail market versus the crowdfunding market. Because the crowdfunding market's very different in that, like, hey, you know, I paid for a game ahead of time and for X, Y, or Z reasons. Now, the reality is that like the distributor or the publisher who's making that game straight up may not have the cash on hand to pay the tariff when those goods are delivered.
Yeah.
And if that happens, right, there's not a whole lot of options for them, right? It'll become what's called frustrated cargo, right? It'll get stuck at the port, which creates other problems because, again, the people who own the ports will end up starting to charge you for having to store your stuff there, which storing in the United States is going to be more expensive than storing it overseas.
Even though there's a dang public storage popping up every mile.
Yeah. It's a little bit different when you're talking about like the mega port city, like, you know, Port of LA and whatnot. But, you know, games like, so Vantage is, to me, it's an interesting conversation because, again, like producers who have games coming into the United States at these points are like, hey, now it's just now a part of the cost, right? And they should be able to adjust it. Now, there's some conversations about like how like the landed price, you know, eventually gets multiplied by X number to become the MSRP through the process of getting it from the publisher to the distributor to the retailer. And of course, if you're increasing the landed cost by 145%, that's going to drive costs up all the way. But you can also control distribution. So like Druid City Games has an exclusive distribution through All Play. So it's all very tightly controlled. Now, obviously, that means Druid City Games aren't available at Amazon and Target and all the places that, you know, I think Stonemeyer says like something like 33% of their sales are from big box retailers like
Target,
Amazon.
Walmart.
Yeah. So it's obviously like a very challenging space, but I think it is a different conversation because at the end of the day, like if you produce a game and it costs more to produce the game and bring it to the United States, I mean, yeah, that's just a straight up thing. You're going to pass that off to your consumer. And the reality is that because this is a hobby, right, no one needs any of this stuff, right? If the cost of a board game increases, you know, like we're just, as consumers, we're just going to have to decide what we're okay with, right? What we're willing to pay for these things. And does that mean we'll buy less? Probably, right? But I don't know if that's going to be the end of board gaming. Like some people are talking about like the doom and gloom scenario here, but I don't think it's going to be that bad.
What would you like to add to the conversation? Meep.
Meep.
Meep. Meep.
Meep. Meep. Meep. Meep. And I mean, the only thing that's I think worth saying, because I don't want to go, we can obviously I could talk about this forever. All sorts of thoughts and opinions on it. But we are seeing some of the companies, retail companies, start to fold. So, what was the
Boardlandia closed.
So Boardlandia is of course an online retailer. They're closing their doors. And I'm gonna be honest, man. The timing of that's pretty ominous. I don't. It's one of those things where like I do wonder if companies are looking for opportunities to like pull the trigger.
And it's kind of save their reputation on the way out.
Exactly. Final Frontier Games, who crowdfunded Merchant's Cove, is a big one.
Yeah,
I think
the deluxe Craftsman edition or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and that's still due, I think. So that might be a problem for those folks because I think they're with distributors or something like that. I don't remember the details. I won't get into it because I'm not a backer. But the other one that was a big surprise to a lot of people was Greater Than Games, who's responsible for Spirit Island, who these guys, it's their favorite game. I don't know if you knew that, but Dwayne and Sebastian love it. But by all intents, like, I mean, I think it's a top 25 game, right? I know you guys.
Spirit Island?
Yeah, I think it's
Nah.
it's in the top.
It's
in the
50
top
for sure.
50.
50, sure, I'll give it that.
Yeah,
25, I
What do
bet you $1 it's not.
I mean,
I'll give it 37.
You think it's 37? Dwayne, what do you think it is?
43.
It's 10.
What?
Yeah. Overall.
Brigade it. Go
Rank overall 10. Strategy 10.
go
The point is
review bomb it.
I mean, well, this is the concern that people have is that if the number 10 ranked game on BGG, right? A loved game in the community. It's also available in big box stores and whatnot. They have the cheaper version, it's like Forbidden Island or whatever I think it's called. And if that company is closing their doors and if they're claiming it's because of this, like it's a bad omen, right? Like, oh my gosh. There's a couple of things to take into consideration. One, again, I do think companies are going to use this as I don't want to say an excuse, but they're going to take advantage of the situation and say, hey, look, we've been, maybe things have been making a lot of money. They've been going downhill, and it's a good time to off-road right before things get any worse. The other thing, too, is that the reality is that just because a board game publisher makes good games doesn't mean they're good business people.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of that, right? Mythic Games is a really good example. They made really, really good games. Like Siege 6 was a really phenomenal game, really tight gameplay, really enjoyable, but not a good company, right? They just poor management. So
They needed rich management is what they needed.
yeah,
What a stupid joke.
yeah. So
Comment if you laughed at that. Say I'm sorry.
the buckle up. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a wild ride. I don't think it's worth all the doom and gloom. I do think we're gonna see a lot less crowdfunding. Crowdfunding stuff now is literally having blocks in the bottom talking about tariffs and whatnot. But the reality is that, you'll see. But I don't think the hobby. I think it'll get thin, but I don't think we're going away.
Yeah. Our hobby's taking an Ozempic shot. It'll work for a few years and then we'll gain it right back. Well, with the end of our hobby creeping up, that'll be the end of this segment, and we're gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Since you won't be able to get any more new games, right? Everyone's got to dig in their bag now from years ago. Do we play classic games?
All right. So, yeah, the question is if somebody says, "Hey, we want to play this old classic game."
Before we continue, comment right now what game you're waiting for from Kickstarter that you're scared of shipping prices.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. You're out of time. Stop. Enter. All right. Now we're back.
So somebody wants to play a classic game. So first of all, we're gonna have to define what we all agree that means, right?
Monopoly.
Yeah. And then, are you playing that, or are you just gonna be like, hey? Now you can say like broadly. You can be specific, right? If you like some games, you say yes. Some games you say no. Circumstance also matters. So first of all, are we talking like Hasbro?
No,
like
no,
old
no, no.
Avalon Hill.
We're gonna say mass. We're gonna say mass market appeal.
Nothing.
So, I mean, does Catan count?
No,
Yes.
sorry, no Monopoly.
Definitely.
No
that's a '90s game anyway.
But no,
But
those
Catan, yes.
those are classic games. No, I'm sorry, we're still talking about defining what a classic game is, an old classic game.
I would say Catan.
You're putting Catan in there, so that's like, what about like Pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying it.
Oh wow,
I'm saying Ticket to Ride.
I'd honestly, Ticket to Ride.
Okay.
I'd honestly say Wingspan.
No.
Only because not even
Wingspan.
time.
Get outta
Only
here,
because
dude.
No.
everyone
Get
has
outta
seen
here.
or heard of
No.
or played Wingspan.
No, dude.
Type 1 in the comments if Wingspan
It's a
is a
classic,
classic.
but it's not like
It's a
that.
modern classic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
That's not the
Hey,
same.
but classic
dude.
is in there. It's in
Okay.
there. I'm just saying it's the game that everyone's got put away. It's collected dust now for a little bit, but you can pull it back out.
I don't think so.
No, man.
I see motherfuckers walk into BP with Wingspan
all the time.
Yes, but people be playing Ticket to Ride there too. You know.
Yeah, I don't. So to me,
fuck
I
with
don't
Catan,
talk about.
bro.
I don't
Me
want to.
too.
Honestly,
I'm not putting any of the modern board games into the category. Because even Catan, right? Like, if somebody is like, "Hey, I'm new to modern gaming or whatever. I'm interested." Like, I won't normally play Catan. I'll never ask to play it or whatever. But if somebody's like, "Hey, I'm new to gaming. I've never had a chance to play this. I'm interested in playing it," I'll be like, "All right, cool. I will sit down." I keep a copy of Star Trek Catan. I prefer the theme for that. It's the only reason I have the Star Trek one. But I keep a copy around.
He puts on his cyborg glasses. Puts on the suit.
Jordy is not a cyborg, okay? He's blind. Those
Oh.
are to help him.
Oh,
I
See,
also have
you
I have
racist
Space
piece of
Catan.
shit.
And I've never even touched it.
I heard that's actually a
I have
pretty decent
3D
game.
Catan.
I also have.
Oh, the
3D Catan.
Starfarers? The Starfarers?
Starfarers. that's
No.
what I meant,
Yeah, yeah.
That is actually supposedly an
legit
actually
game.
I need
decent
to. I
game.
need to play it.
Dude,
I've had
I'll
it for
play
so
with you,
long.
dude.
Say less.
Starfarers
Yes,
Catan.
Catan is on there where I will play.
I just don't
First and
agree that
foremost,
it's
in general,
I don't agree that it's a
I will
classic.
always. I'll
Catan?
always-
It's a modern classic.
No,
Is
it's
it?
in the 90s,
No.
dude. I know you were 30 back then, but
Because to me, the question, like, all right, so like, this is maybe a bad example, but like, so I was on vacation recently, and we were on this little river cruise boat, and they had a pile of games, and the only one that was in English, everything else was in Arabic, was Snakes and Ladders, and a couple of the folks one day we're hanging out on the deck of the boat, and they pulled it out, and they're like, "Hey," they knew I like board games. They talked about it. And they're like, "Hey, come on!"
they're like,
over."
"Don't you love this awesome board game?" It's
What
so
is
And
that,
I-
Hi-Ho Cheerio?
And I was literally like,
That's a deep cut right
I contemplated them being like, "No, I refuse."
But you like
Scoff
board
at
games,
'em?
though.
Just, I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't know if I can do
Oh,
this.
okay.
Actually, I've got this game.
But
Yeah, I
but,
brought Twilight Imperium, guys. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be busy playing downstairs.
but I was like, you know
Eight-handed.
what? It's about the social thing, right? I'm on a boat. I'm in the River Nile, hanging
Yeah.
out, having a good time or whatever.
It's just something to
matter.
sit around.
It was just something to sit around and just enjoy each other's company or whatever, right? So that's a perfect. I don't want to say it's a perfect example, but it's an example, right? Where it's like, yeah, the circumstances that were required for me to play Snakes and Ladders involved being on a.
Shapes and Ladders?
This was Snakes and Ladders.
There's
What the
two different
hell?
versions.
Yeah, they were
I
little.
think the
snakes
snakes
on
got
there.
removed because
'Cause they're-
people with phobias.
By the
they were
way,
like, we're gonna
If
do.
you like Snakes and Ladders, it's totally fine. It's
Hey, there's
completely
nothing
okay.
wrong with it. I just, like, under normal circumstances, I wouldn't. But like, I literally had to be like on a vacation on a cruise ship in the middle of the Nile River, cruising down, having a good old time. I think I may have been a couple glasses of wine deep at that point too, but whatever, you know.
river water.
Yeah. So, what are your limitations? Like what are you saying yes to? What are you saying no
I'm
to?
saying
no
I'm saying
to-
up to Pandemic is classic. I would
I'm-
say Wingspan.
no, no, no,
but
he's
yeah.
All
He's
right, we've moved
asking-
on that. We've moved on beyond that.
He's
'cause we're not going to
asking-
agree on that terminology.
Oh,
so
like,
like,
okay.
What-
So when are you gonna
What
play
are you
Pandemic?
not playing?
yeah, where are you drawing the line? being
I'm
like,
drawing the line at like the Monopolies, the Sorries, the Troubles, the
Okay.
Candylands.
You wouldn't
there's
play
not a
Monopoly?
I
circumstance.
wouldn't play Monopoly.
There's not a circumstance that somebody pulls out a game of Sorry and you're like, okay, fine.
I'd play Monopoly.
Anya Taylor Joy comes to your house and brings
the
game of
Queen's Gambit
Sorry,
version of Sorry.
sits down and says, "Play this game with me." You saying no?
Do I have a choice? Like, do
Yeah,
I-
you
am I-
can say no. That's that game or nothing.
I would rather just not.
She
Anya,
leaves.
It was great meeting you.
No, she won't even touch you. Nothing.
It's my favorite game.
If you play Sorry, the hope is that your hands brush and she
No.
falls madly in love with you.
She's married, but whatever,
Who-
right?
Hey, who knows what they're into? Just kidding. I deeply respect her as a person. Okay.
So, is there any circumstance that you would play one of those games?
I don't think so.
Dang, that's wild. See, the thing is, though, is if you would have asked me 4 weeks ago before
Maybe
my trip,
if like
Is Trouble the
maybe
clicker?
If, like,
yeah,
a child wanted to play it.
okay, all right,
I would do Trouble.
Maybe
Yeah.
if like a child wanted to play it.
okay.
That's where I would be like, okay, I'll humor you.
You're at the family gathering. One of the youngins brings over their portable Trouble clicker with 3 pegs. You just make something up.
What if a fucking 40-year-old grown man comes to me and is like, Hey, bro, you want to play Sorry?
I have all these
Alright.
custom pieces.
Yeah.
He opens up the box.
Sorry, with miniatures?
No, it's preserved human fingers. So he just like put on pegs.
Yeah.
He looks up at you and his eyes are crossed. I don't want to play. You should try again.
Goat eyes.
You should try again. Say something else. I don't want to try again. Careful now.
Until you realize that one of them's got freaking, where's your bones on it? Got one of the fingers in there's got his little bone on it. You're like,
Yeah.
no, Sebastian.
It's crooked too. It's twitching. Actually, one's fresh. It's twitching. You look down. Crazy. Welcome to the Halloween episode. We're gonna be crazy this year for Halloween.
Dude. Kids is a good excuse, right? I've played I think it was a Jurassic Park game, and it was literally just a spinner game, and the only choice you had to make was like when you hit a fork on the road whether you're going to go one way or the other. And I'm like, you're lucky I love you kids.
Always go left.
Terrible.
You know what though? In that vein of kids games, I have a dinosaur bingo game. It's just bingo, but with dinosaurs, pretty cool, pretty entertaining.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So you have like the little like thing where you like pull out the ball?
A version of it.
Okay.
You have a box and cardboard tiles to draw from the box.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know. Is
Bingo's
bingo a
classic
board
though.
game?
You play on a board.
Maybe there's
Is
Bingo.
bingo is just a roll and write?
Yeah. Bingo's the first rolling right. That's
Oh!
crazy.
It's the roll and the right.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Sheesh.
I don't think it's a board game though.
I would call it a board game.
Dude, I see a future.
That's kind of a good debate if bingo's a board game.
I see a future where I think we may have talked about this before, and if we have, whatever, you're gonna hear it again. That I think in like 30 years, 40 years, when guys like me are retiring, bingo halls will turn into board game halls.
Oh yeah.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
What do you win though? Oh, it's just you know how
Just
Catan has
tournaments.
like a national championship.
Yeah, just tournaments all the time.
It's just people playing Catan in there.
Bro, a TI
Yeah.
table?
Woo! I spent my last days there. Man. The doctor said I have how much time? That's enough for
8
one
hours?
more. That's enough for
Well, we
one
can
more
squeeze
game.
it in.
Yeah. All right. What about you? What are your limits? When are you gonna? You haven't said when you're. Gonna,
What I won't play?
Yeah. What won't you play?
I don't know. Honestly, I think I'm okay. How do you play Sorry? Because Trouble's
know.
Trouble's the clicker.
Sorry is you draw a card and you move that many spaces.
That's it.
I think so.
Then what's the whole sorry piece? Because you like knock
Because there's
people
a
off the
sorry,
board, right?
there's a
Sorry.
yeah. You step on somebody and it's like no. You pull a card that says sorry and you're like you move somebody back to their home space.
Oh.
That's crazy. Okay.
It's like Parcheesi. It's like a simple.
Pachisi.
Yeah, it's like a simple Parcheesi, I think.
Okay.
Okay, I think realistically, like an adult can't ask me to play Sorry or like that. I'm not gonna do.
I won't lie though, I had a sick ass copy of Spider-Man 3. Sorry, shit was dope, bro. I always played Venom.
And you sold
Sorry.
it.
I don't know where it's at.
I would probably the thing with like play a game with a kid. It's not the game. You're doing an activity.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're just doing a fun activity. With,
Yeah, you're just spending time with them. It doesn't really matter what you're doing.
yeah. The
Alright,
pieces
so-
don't matter. None of that matters. I think we're saying like an adult group of people ask you to play a game.
Yeah.
They say, "Hey, we're gonna get together, drink some beers, play Trouble.
Yeah.
maybe get in some trouble.
I'll
Who
watch.
knows? Cool. I'll come hang out, and drink with you, and then I'll just not play the game.
Yeah.
Would you play Pandemic?
Yeah, I would.
See, would you play if it was my birthday and I wanted to play Catan? would you
I
do
love
it?
Catan.
Yeah.
Oh, see.
I also enjoy
I mean,
Catan.
again, so this is where I'm like, I get what you're saying, but for the purpose of the conversation of the conversation, like I think those games should be eliminated because literally every one of those games is like on like fair game. Like I don't think any of us would be like, absolutely not, I won't play this game.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
there's really not many circumstances. I may try to encourage us to play a different game, or like there'd probably be a good reason why you wanted to play Pandemic or Ticket to Ride or Catan. But I don't think any of us are going to throw a tantrum, right? None of us are going to walk away from that opportunity, like that
Yeah.
experience, right? Where if somebody sits down and shows up with Monopoly, you're going to probably be like, no, this is 4 hours of my life I will never get
See,
back.
I would play Monopoly though,
See? Okay, so like why Monopoly though? Why does that one get a buy?
because I like Monopoly.
Why do you like Monopoly?
Well, you just have to not care. If you just don't care, you're just rolling die and going, woo, it's fun. It's fine.
Here's the thing, though.
You pay your bills when you got
bring
to.
in-
Sell your
gotta
stuff
bring
off.
in the choice, because like if somebody comes to me and they're like, "Hey, want to play Catan?" but I have nothing else, I'm gonna say yeah, obviously. But if I have, "Hey, want to play Catan?" but I have a bag of other games, I might pass on Catan
I'm gonna go.
to play something else.
I'm gonna play with these other people. It's just me and you. We're on an island. I'll play by myself.
Oh, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can obviously find a way to yes on a lot of those things, but like again, Catan I think is again it's in that category of like it's easier to say yes to because it's a modern board game.
I think we're also forcing ourselves to say yes with all these extra situations, right? It's just
Yeah,
like
well, that's what I'm
you go
saying.
to
You're
BP.
looking for the ways to get
Yeah.
to yes with them. Again, I don't think it's very hard to get to yes with a game with any modern board game, which is why I don't want to include them in the conversation of classics. Right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about old games. So like I'll give a good example, right? Risk, right? I played a lot of Risk as a kid, right? I have 3 copies. I still have them. The 2210 or whatever, the futuristic one, classic Risk, and then Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Risk. And I loved them all growing up. We played a lot of them. If anybody asked today to play Risk, I would say no.
I'll play Rising Sun.
There's literally like this scenario, like a guy named Adam who I played with a lot in high school would have to be there. Like he would have to show up and be like, hey, you know, we're going to play this. And I'd be like, yeah, because it'd be a nostalgia trip, right? But that's like the circumstance that it would take for me to be able to want to play that.
Yeah. No, we're saying you walk into BP one day on your own. You're just like, you know what? I'm a free bird today. The first table, they go, you want to play? You look down. There's trouble on the board.
No.
Life.
No.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
good.
just here. I'm just here to drink.
Yep. So I'll belly up to the bar and bother
Yeah.
Vina.
Yeah. I've actually got some work to do.
Yeah.
Take your work laptop out.
Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah.
That's I think a good regular situation.
Yeah.
4 adults. You want to play this with us? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like my example being on the boat, right? There were no other options.
Yeah.
I didn't pack anything. In retrospect, probably wasn't a great idea. I probably should have gotten some pocket travel games. But it was my first group travel. Chicken. Honestly, they probably would have gotten a kick out of.
Yeah.
But actually, I'll use that as a transition because we would push the envelope a little bit further. Card games, 25, 52 card deck.
Oh my God.
I'm having a short, man. Okay, does that smell like burnt toast to anybody? Standard card games. Would you play them?
What do you mean, like speed?
Yeah. So now I'm taking poker off the list because I know you like poker.
Yeah.
But like somebody wants to play cribbage or
Spades?
spades,
I'll play
or any of
spades.
that kind of stuff.
I've actually never played cribbage.
Really?
You can play. I thought cribbage was a little stone game.
That's Mancala.
Oh.
You know, it's funny because on the boat, the same thing came up because we were they had a couple decks of cards, and so there was a game that I was taught by one of my old coworkers, Eric, called Durock, and it's a
Sick-ass name.
yeah, it means fool in Russian, and it's fun because there's no winner in the game. There's just one loser. So
Like that's not a hat.
yeah, I had to refresh the rules a little bit, and I messed it up the first time I taught it. But once I got the rules down, we played it. We played a whole bunch of it, and it was fun because it was a game that had a little bit of strategy, some tactics, right? Your approach to how you wanted to get after it. It was social. I mean, the only drawback to the game was that you don't knock yourself out, but you play once you play your cards out, you're out of the game, and you don't lose. So it's good, but you've pulled yourself out. So some people can go out really early, and if the rest of the game goes on for a little bit longer, they're just sitting there with their, twiddling their thumbs. But That was a fun one.
I do be twiddling.
I think it's cool that like now there's a whole bunch of card games that are just 52 card deck. Fuck.
See?
The same
See?
52 card deck games, but just like reskinned.
Yeah.
Like one that I have, it's always in my bag. It's called Regicide.
Oh.
And Regicide is a
You can play it with a
Standard-
regular number deck.
standard deck.
Is that the one where you play the cards in a row and then some are face up, some are face down?
No, you have to. So it's like you have to beat the Jack, the Queen, the King, but you do it in order. It's a co-op game or solo.
Okay.
And it's like you play certain
I've never
suits,
heard.
give you certain powers, and then like the strength of the card is the number, something like that.
Yeah.
And then
So
you
it's
have to
literally
beat-
just a standard game, standard 52
but it's reskinned
card,
with like
but it's got
art and
Characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, it's the same concept. I mean, like there's
And then,
so
like,
many games out there.
Literally any trick taker.
Yeah.
It's just spades.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get it's because obviously some of them have different card numbers and whatnot. Because like,
It's just added mechanics. Like you play regular spades 2v2, right? It's a team game. We bet we can get this versus your bet, right? Mystic, Mice and Mystics. It's a trick taker I had that was 2v2.
Yeah.
One person, the mouse won the dragon. One can see their cards on their team. One cannot. But it's literally just 2v2 spades. You
Sure.
just can't see each other's. One of you can't see the cards.
just extra rules.
Extra rules.
And
It's
art.
it's like 4 different like chunks of extra rules to add on to regular spades with nice fantasy art.
Yeah. That's interesting though. It's I'm sure. I wonder if anyone's done it. I'm sure there's probably websites out there or whatever. But like, it'd be really cool if you had like a compilation of like, all the different rule sets for like 52 card games
Mm-hmm.
out there.
I think
You could
that's
just
on
have
the
them.
bicycle website.
Probably
Everything
is,
you
but
can
like
do with those.
all the crazier ones that people are pushing out there and whatnot. Because again, like it's just a new rule set. So, but that's an easy way to bring a 52 card deck to a trip or something like that and be like,
I know 45 games with this
yeah,
this
exactly.
stack of cards.
And play what you want, because like, I mean, even if it's not like, what was the other? I remembered. It embarrassed me that I didn't remember this game until halfway through the trip. I was in Egypt, and do you remember the game Egyptian Rat Screw?
Nope.
You remember that?
I always hear you talk about it.
Yeah. So it's just a simple.
Always
game.
hear him talk about it?
Yeah,
I've
talked
literally
about it
never
before.
heard you say Egyptian rat screw.
Well, I usually say the F word, but we're trying to be, it's a family show, right?
I've literally never even heard that.
Yeah. Well,
Crazy.
It's a fun game. You basically you flip cards over, Earth away from you, and like the Jack, Queen, King, and Ace are the power cards. And when you flip over a Jack, then the other opponent has one chance to get another power card. Queen is 2, King is 3, Ace is 4. But so it's basically like that. The basics is war on steroids. However, the additional rule is that you add slapping in it. So if there's ever 2 cards of the same, you can slap the deck, and whoever has their hand on the bottom pulls the cards. And the objective, of course, is to win all of them.
Taco Cat.
Yeah,
And
that's Taco
then-
Cat.
And then you can also do sandwiches. So if it's like a 6, Queen 6 or something like that, you can also slap it. But if you ever slap when it's not supposed to, you got to take 3 cards off the top of your deck and put them underneath. So like we played this a lot in high school, and like people would get super into it, super aggressive.
Red ass hands.
Yeah,
Oh, hell yeah.
swollen fingies.
Well, it was so much fun because you didn't have to start with the players to get into the game. You'd literally just sit down partway through, and you'd be like, "Are we playing sandwiches or not?" And that's all you had to ask, and then you could slap in.
Yeah.
So
I just thought of a game that's in the Monopoly slash that,
which one?
that I will play
What?
if
Alright.
asked. Uno.
Uno.
I will always play Uno.
Okay.
Nah.
You did mention your love for Uno on a previous episode, at least once.
Bro.
Is there-
it's
hey,
so
hey,
fun.
hey, Uno, thank you.
All right.
Just standard Uno though. Get
Yeah.
that fucking flip all wilds. Get that shit away from me.
Okay.
Standard Uno, just regular Schmegular Uno.
Hey,
The All Wilds one is so dumb, dude.
That's fucking stupid.
Wait, I'm sorry. It's all wilds. What does that mean?
Literally every card.
Every like non-regular standard number card.
That's
It's something
stupid.
like that. It's so dumb. Flip is like
Both
Flip-
sides have something.
Flip isn't terrible. It's not bad. I played it with my nibblings.
hated it.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not going to try to convince you. It's not a good game. It's not a great game. It's fine. Like
There's-
in the Uno categories, I'm like, whatever.
My thing for like people
There's
who play
Ghosts.
Uno and they go, "Oh my gosh, an expansion for Uno," just do one extra Google search and you'll find such a better game.
And then the new one,
You
there's
have
like
the
a
itch.
newer one that is Uno No Mercy, where it's just mean. It's like there's targeted cards, like targeted +2s.
and you do the stacks. Like
Yeah.
it's like part of the rules probably where
Yeah.
you stack the 2s and 4s.
but like you play a +2 and you
Oh,
can
that's right, because you're
choose.
not supposed to be able to like.
yeah, it's not the base game.
Yeah, well,
the
Uno's got
regular
all
game
these
of
rules.
Uno, nobody plays that.
Yeah, no.
It's kind of like Monopoly.
Yeah.
Like even the scoring part. I didn't realize Uno had.
Wait, how do you score in Uno?
It's like.
Oh, it's the
whoever-
cards you get left over. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Okay, I
And
do remember that.
I was like, I never knew that until I played I played it on PlayStation. And I
You
was
played
like,
that dumbass.
I was like, what the hell is
Oh my
this?
gosh.
All
I
right.
had a fucking time in my life though. This shit is so fun.
Are there any games there is literally not a circumstance, or like it's hell or high water that you wouldn't play? I've got one in mind.
Go ahead.
Axis and Allies. Trash game. Absolute dog
I think
water.
I've played that once, and honestly, I would agree with you.
Dude, it's
I'm never
just
playing that again.
terrible. Like I can't like games that have fixed maps, like starting maps and starting conditions are pretty rough to begin with. Especially because like everything is asymmetric because it's World War II. But like I don't know, it's just not a good game, and they're not short either, right? That's the real
Yeah.
problem. Like they're always long games, and it's just not good.
Are
It's
we
not good.
Are we talking anything or just like old games?
I mean, I'm starting with classics, the classics or whatever. I guess you can uncork it if
Action
you want.
Allies definitely one of those.
Never played it.
Don't.
I've played it one time, and yeah, it was dumb.
I'd play Stratego before I'd play Axis and Allies.
Oh, I have.
Oh, I
played
wouldn't play
Stratego.
Stratego.
It's cool.
There's just no point.
No, it's not a good game either. Again, I have to play with my nibblings or whatever. But all right, what's
I
what's
think I
your
just don't have a lot of classics because I didn't really play other than Monopoly, Uno, the standard stuff,
yeah,
Risk.
sure.
Action and Allies I played as an adult after discovering all the other games.
Yeah.
I was like, this is crap. Why are you playing that? He was like, this is my favorite game in the whole world.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, like, I think I may have told this story once upon a time, but like when I started teaching at West Point, and started going to the War Game Club, like, surprise, surprise, cadets were playing Axis and Allies, but like they did a lot of big tabletopping stuff, and then the people who were doing board games, like it was Catan and Axis and Allies was basically it. And I'm like, you guys do know other games exist,
You
right?
guys do know that. You guys know that.
And by the end of my time there, I don't think people were even taking Axis and Allies off the shelf, which was that
Memoir
was a
44.
personal win. A great game.
Never played that actually.
We never played it because it's 2-player.
Yeah.
So it was always a bit of a kind of like, well, you know.
Go from Axis Allies to Twilight Struggle.
I mean, I don't know if we didn't have a copy of that. No, we didn't have a.
Is
I don't think
Axis
we did.
Allies not 2-player?
It is.
No,
Isn't it?
you can play it. It's multi. I mean, you can play up to because you got the Germans, the Russians, the British.
That's even worse. So we just played
Americans.
U.S. versus Germany.
Yeah, if you play a 2-player version of it, like I don't even know if because again the other thing. Well, let me put this caveat: there are different versions, right? So there's like Pacific 41, Europe 41, Global 42, something 43. There's a bunch of different variations because basically like the start conditions of the map will be different based on what year you're starting in. And then I think I think it's Pacific 41 and Europe 41. They're full boards, and there's actually a variant where you can put them together.
Oh my
And
gosh!
you could do
dude.
Global 41, and you can have it's something like 8 different players or something like that, or
Oh.
up to And we set it up at my buddy's house, and we tried getting through it. I think we got through like 2 or 3 turns, and it was just
It was
like
3 hours later.
yeah. I mean, this is one of those things. I can't remember what we had going on in the background. If it was like college football or something else like that. I think it may have been just college football,
Nerd.
but like
I
it
want
was
football.
dude. I mean, the time between turns was like over an hour.
Dang, for real. Then. I
I'm
wasn't
dead
lying.
serious. It was exhausting. Cool concept, just not
In
it.
theory,
Not
like
it.
it's a very like fantasy. Like, man, imagine being with your 8 buddies getting this big old giant war. Like that's so cool. But
Yeah.
everyone takes an hour on their turn.
No,
Nah.
there's a board game called War Room that I thought would kind of like maybe capture that feeling of being able, like, the guys around the table being all a bunch of strategists and pushing things around. And I owned it for a while. I never got it open because it didn't show up before I left West Point, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but you guys aren't the crowd for that. So, yeah. Command staves.
That's those freaking forks, right?
It's like
The,
the
war,
like
the
the
bend.
fucking war rooms.
well, it's got like a little it's like a credit card thing, and you like push your little troops.
Oh my
You
know?
god.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how he.
So
got
what's
into
your
board
game that you
games.
said you wouldn't because you wanted to? You said you had one, but it was like a modern one.
Oh.
If you say
well,
Spirit Island,
I thought of
just gonna
another
walk
one.
away.
I thought of
No.
an old one and also the new one.
Yeah,
Come on.
Spirit Island.
The new one, modern one. You know it. Bring the hate.
Oh,
Castles.
Castles of Burgundy.
Between that or Encyclopedia,
I would rather play Encyclopedia before Castles.
because animals at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
it's pretty. It's a
Yeah.
pretty game when you have all the shit,
Yeah.
especially if it's the first one. Ugh,
Yeah,
God.
that's fair.
But the one that I thought of, democracy.
What's that?
Is that what it's called?
Diplomacy.
Diplomacy.
Democracy.
You
wouldn't
wouldn't- Have you played Diplomacy other than the one time that we played online?
No, but hold on. Wait.
That counts. That counts.
No, not our experience, and I'll
Wait,
tell you why.
Wait. I have the game.
I know you do.
I read the rules.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Nah.
mm-mm.
Yeah.
Plus that online experience.
I don't think.
That
Yeah.
was such a sad side.
No. So here's the
Because
thing.
I like.
No.
Because I like the idea of the game. I think the idea of the game is cool, but playing it, I feel like I would be like, oh my fuck,
Dude, hey, here's the thing. I don't disagree with you. Diplomacy has the potential to be amazing. In most of its implementations, most games fall apart for one reason or another, right? The most common thing that happens in a game of diplomacy is that one player will start losing early. And when they lose, the amount of energy that has to go into the game is not insubstantial. So they just stop caring. And then it creates an imbalance because if one player stops playing, the players around it can capitalize on that and gain an advantage. And like winning individual battles, like gaining single territories, can be a pretty significant shift in the game. So like that alone makes it a challenging game because you have to convince people to be like, look, no, you have to play this all the way through. Like even if you've only got one army left, one navy left, or one city or whatever, you have to play and you have to try. And then of course there's the dynamics between like the venue and how you're playing it. So like, you know, if you're doing it online, again, what's your engagement level? Like, are you trying to make deals with people? Are you just being cutthroat? Are you not trying to talk to anybody?
No, because you
Right.
gotta.
Because it's all like it is a very involved process. So like honestly, my very first experience was a global game that we played at West Point with the instructors, and there was like I don't know, like 16 of us playing, right? And so like we like it was a huge deal where it was like multiple day turns. So like you'd have like the turn would get adjudicated, and you'd have like 72 hours to submit your orders. And like we're
Jeez.
literally going to people's offices and whatnot, and like sitting down with like the maps and stuff, and be like, all right, hey, so like we've got a coalition here or whatever. So it's like, okay, I need you to go here, and you're gonna I'm gonna support you and do this. And because it's a global map and it's humongous, like it was exhausting. We ended up not finishing it again because the same problem, because a couple instructors were like, I'm busy and fell apart. But like, so like the point of the story, the point of all this is that like it has the potential to be a really fun experience with the right people in the right circumstance. And curating that is a challenge.
Yeah, just like Clock Tower.
Honestly, yes. It really is. Like I think Clock Tower probably has an easier point of entry because
The starter script.
it's an hour experience, right? Diplomacy, even if you play it in person, is a multi-hour experience, right? And that's if you're doing it. And I've never done it quite like that, where you're like doing a confined, like, hey, we're going to play for 4 hours, and you have 15 minutes to do your turns, and you have to go talk to them, and you got to go into this room and do this. Very Clock Tower-esque when you do it like that. But just like in Clock Tower, you go like, hey, I thought we were allies. Why are you talking to Germany? Right?
Well, you see, Germany has quite the plan.
All right. Well,
We are going to have a lot more bratwursts in the country now.
I can say though that like even if you never play it, I don't know, you're not missing anything. It's an interesting experience, but I don't think you'll die because of you're not playing it.
Okay. Did you say your classic one? Oh yeah,
You did.
That
Diplomacy.
was that one. Democracy.
Democracy.
And with that, I'm going to democratically end the show. So that
All those in favor?
Me.
Hi.
Wait. I call a motion. I like to dismiss the podcast.
Okay.
Do I have a second? I have a second. There's a second. All right. All those in favor of ending the podcast, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Motion passes.
We all say nay as well. But now you have time to go play Democracy.
Actually, I'm losing. Can we
Or
just stay here?
the other one.
We just sit here.
Go and have fun. But first, leave a comment on the video. Like the video if you did like it. If you laughed once, that's fair, I think.
It's just going to be a bunch of predictions. What's the next episode?
I know, right? Thanks for being here with us, guys. See you next time. Bye.
See you later. Bye.